You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the third part of What If Naruto Enters Winx Club? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Pixel's Fanbook on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. At the crash site. The aircraft was submerged in a puddle of sludge at the black mud swamp. Fortunately, the specialists were out of the now downed aircraft, and were alright, shaken and dizzy but all the matter, alright. While they were recovering from their dizziness, they hear someone shout at them. Hey! Are you guys alright? The boys turn and see the girls running towards them. Riven looks at his team and sees that they were okay. Isn't it obvious? Riven says. Hey, we came to check you guys were hitting. You don't have to be rude about it. He's just kidding. We're fine. Thanks for asking. Sky says as Brandon walks over to the aircraft. Oh, we're out here doing our training. We have to leave the forest in a time without using our magic. Bloom explains. Hey, where's the troll? Brandon yells as he spots large footprints on the mud, leaving the crash site. Wait, you guys were transporting a troll and you let it escape. Tekna shouts at the news. We didn't let anyone escape. There was an accident, we lost altitude and... Riven was saying but he stops when he couldn't find an excuse to use. Fortunately for him, Timmy had one. Suffered mechanical failure. Timmy says with Riven agrees with him. Yeah, so there is nothing to worry about. He's handcuffed with the addle shackles, these things work like tranquilizers. So, there is no way he could go that far from here. Riven says, right as Timmy walks up to him, holding something in his hands. You mean these addle shackles? Timmy asks, showing the HNDCFFs that were the size of an elephant's leg. This causes the girls to get worried upon seeing the cuffs. So, what brings you, girls, out here? Sky asks, trying to calm the situation down. We're here for an assignment. Bloom explains. Well, why don't you go back to your task and leave us to our job? Riven rudely says, which makes the girls glare at him. Before either of them could say something, the trees near them start to ruffle. The fairies and specialists were on guard. Upon hearing the ruffling, the specialists drew out their phantom weapons. Hey, that isn't a really nice way to talk to a lady, dude. A voice says, one that the girls immediately recognized. Naruto. Flora calls out, and sure enough, the blonde whiskered-faced teen jumps down from the tree he was on and waves at the group. Hello, ladies. Naruto greets. Naruto. The girls cheer, happy in seeing their friend out here with them. The specialists look at Naruto and Riven, and Timmy recognized him too. Wait, you're that kid who works for Hank. Riven yells, making the other boys look at Naruto. Naruto spots them and now realizes that he was out in the open, without a mask on. Ah, CRP. This guy. I wasn't expecting him to be here, nor his buddies. Well, since he knows I work for Hank and not my big secret, I guess I could work with it for now. Naruto thought. Yeah, that's me. How's it going? Naruto asks, greeting the boys. Good, nice to meet you, I'm Sky, Prince of Aracloyne. Brandon says as he walks over and offers his hand to Naruto. I've heard about you, it's nice and an honor to meet you, your highest. Naruto says, respectfully as he shakes Brandon's hand. Please, call me Sky. Prince Sky makes me feel old. Brandon says as Naruto grins and nods. He was liking this guy already. What are you doing here, Naruto? Flora asks. Well, I was in the neighborhood, walking around in the forest, taking in nature and clearing my mind when I saw an aircraft fall from the sky. So I thought I should come and check what was going on. So, what happened? Naruto asks. A troll broke out. Tekna replies, making Naruto look at her with a dumbfounded expression. A troll. Naruto says. Yeah, a troll. You know, bog scary smell beasts. Riven says as Naruto turns to him and the others. This troll that broke out, he wouldn't be blue-skinned, fat, 10 feet tall, has long black hair, claws, wears a thick metal ring thing going around and between his legs as clothing, has their tips pierced by big black rings and maybe has a scar going across their chest that looks like a slash. And that scar looks fresh. Naruto asks as the specialists look at him with wide eyes. Yeah, that is him. How did you know that? Sky asks, surprised that Naruto knew how the troll looked like. Lucky guess. Stella, Bloom. Can I talk to two in private for a little bit please? Naruto asks as he walks away from the group. Stella and Bloom follow him and see that he was stressing out. Okay, we have a serious problem here. Naruto says. Why, what's wrong? Stella asks as Naruto turns to them. These guys didn't let any old troll escape, they let the exact same troll me and Stella fought the day we met Bloom back on Earth. Naruto says, causing Stella and Bloom's eyes to go wide after hearing that. Wait, are you serious? Bloom asks, she and Stella definitely remember the troll that attacks Bloom's house the day they met. Naruto nods. I'm afraid so. If he's out there, he'll try and go back to whoever summoned him or try to get back at us, since he most likely knows our sense. Naruto says, he looks around the swamp and forest and looks at the footprints embedded in the mud. This swamp is filled with gas, it's knocked his sense of smell off, making him go around the forest until he finds a way out. We really don't have a lot of time on our side here. Naruto says, knowing that if the troll does escape from them, it was game over for Magix. Which means we have to help them track the troll down before that happens. Bloom says with Naruto nodding to her. Exactly. Naruto says, the trio turns back and walks to the group as Naruto walks up to the specialists. Okay dudes. You really don't have a lot of time to find that troll. We can help you find him before he escapes. Naruto says, serious about the situation. Look Blondie, we don't need your help, we can handle this ourselves. So, why don't your fairies go back to your assignment, and you, Blondie, can go back to your little walk. And leave the action to the heroes here. Riven says as he points his thumb to himself. Really? When are they going to get here / well, where are they dude? Stella and Naruto simultaneously say as they had smirks. The two blondes hear what the other said and high-five one another and laughs. Oh man, that's gotta burn. Musa says, laughing with the two as Riven just growls in anger. Alright, listen here you two little dash. Riven was going to curse out to the two when Brandon came and wraps his arm over his head, causing the purple-haired teen to stop talking. What Riven is trying to say is that you all should leave the area while we go and track down that troll and get him back in cuffs before any one of you get hurt. Hey, we don't need you super comments, you're highest. Riven says as he coldly says the last part. Eventually, he got fed up. Whatever, come on guys. We've got work to do. We've got a troll to capture. Riven says as he and the others walk away and into the swamp in search of the troll. Think we should go with them? Musa asks. I don't know, maybe we should. Stick to our assignment and leave the rest to them. Flora asks. I think we should. Me, Stella, and Bloom know that troll. He's a wild beast, I should know. The guy punched me through 2 brick walls. They'll be in big trouble without backup. Naruto says. He looks at the aircraft and sees the smoking hole. He starts to walk over to it to see it closer. Okay, if you all think so. Flora says. Well, I don't know if you guys noticed. But notice the hole on the ship. The ship was hit in mid-flight. Tekna says. Tekna's right. Naruto says, gaining the girl's attention. He was on the ship, near the hole as he was inspecting it. The hole on the side where the ship was hit. It's too precise to be a mechanical failure. It was an attack from the outside, it was a long-ranged hit. Naruto says as he hops off the aircraft and walks back to the girl with a grim look. The attack took out the main circuits in charge of the stabilizers and the impact definitely caused some damage to the engine. Naruto says. And whoever did that must have dealt with the handcuff too. Flora says. Yeah, this was a breakout job for sure. Not a freak accident. So, whoever helped that troll escape could be, still out here with us. Stella asks, with a hint of fear in her voice. Seems that way. Musa says. I think we could investigate things here. With the footprints first. Tekna says as Naruto nods. Good idea. Naruto says as they go over to the ship with Musa, Bloom, and Flora going to the foot trail while Tekna, Stella, and Naruto go over to the ship and to the HNDCFFS. Hey, check out the footprints. Notice anything weird about them? Bloom asks. Oh yeah. That guy has feet the size of a car. Stella comments on the size of the footprints. Feet that led to nowhere. Check it out, they start out fine but after a while, they become less and less visible until they disappear, right before they reach land. Musa says, Flora plants her foot onto the mud next to the large footprint and sees that her footprint was visible. But the ground's still soft. How do you explain that? Flora asks. It's almost like the troll gradually achieved a state of weightlessness. Musa theorizes. Not just that. These cuffs are a psychic lock. So, it's near impossible to break out of them with any force. Tekna says. Yeah, and the only way to break out of these is with a key which isn't in the key slot or by a mental link, but you need to have mental powers for that. Naruto says as he places the cuffs into his weapon seal, hoping that they'll need them on the go if the troll was found. Sounds like the troll used a flying spell. Flora says. But trolls can't use spells. Tekna says. Which means someone really is out there. Looks like we're going to here to go in deeper into the swamp if we're really going to find our troll girls. Naruto says as Stella was not happy at the notion. I in there. Stella asks, pointing in the general direction. Yeah, come on Stella. Where's your sense of adventure? Naruto yells, ecstatically, which surprises the girl over his charisma. Naruto sees that Stella wasn't convinced as he thought of something and gained an idea. Okay Stella, how about this? I'll come with you girls into the swamp. Really? The girls yells. Yeah, I want a bit of payback on that troll for punching me into these walls. Plus, it looks all you guys really are in need of excitement in this assignment of yours. Yes please. The girls yells, although, Tekna and Stella looked a bit unconformable about walking into the swamp. Naruto grins as he walks over to a tree and plucks a branch from it as he spins it like a bow staff right before pointing it to the entrance. Well then. Onwards to victory my fellow adventurers. Naruto yells as he walks into the dense swamp/forest with the girls following him with Stella slowly walking in the back. Tekna was the only one still standing there as she looks at the forest. Hello, nature. Could really use your advice right now. Tekna says as she waits for anything from the swamp. Ribbit, she looks down and sees a yellow-skinned frog croaking at her, right before hopping away, causing her to groan. I really hope we don't regret this. Tekna says as she catches up with the others. 7 minutes later. Ah. I hate nature. Stella cries out as she scraps the mud that was on her. 7 minutes into the expedition, the group of fairies and human had run into spiders, horseflies, frogs, cobwebs, and mud, all of who are Stella's enemies. Stella, language. Bloom scolds Stella on her use of crude language. Yeah, calm down girl. We're in nature, everyone's bound to get dirty. Musa says as if it was the most obvious this in the world, which in this case, it is, given that they were in a swamp. Yeah, Stella. There's nothing to worry about if a little dirt is on you. Naruto says as they continue walking down, deeper into the forest. They walk past some plants until Flora stops. Don't make any noise. I know these plants. They're quietus carnivorous. They hate noise, we have to be quiet. Flora says, slowly approaching the plants. Oh, yeah. I find that hard to believe. Stella says. She whistles and yells, causing Naruto's and Flora's eyes to widen at her actions, but nothing happened. See, nothing to worry about. Stella was saying until she felt something wrap around her ankles and pick her up, surprising her as she soon finds herself being hung upside down at her ankles by vines. As Stella was moving, trying to get out of the vines, Bloom goes to her and closes her mouth. Shoo, calm down and don't move. Bloom whispers. Stella nods and soon after the noise goes away, the quietus carnivorous calm down and lets go of Stella. She falls but fortunately, Naruto was right under her and he catches her. Happy? Naruto asks as Stella just blushes and nervously smiles. Haha, my bad. Stella sheepishly laughs as Naruto sets her down to her feet. Help. They then hear a loud scream which startles the plants and forces them to hide in the ground. Okay Stella, we get it already. You hate nature. Musa says but, they turn and see that Stella wasn't the one screaming. That wasn't her who screamed just now, that sounded a bit far from where we are. Naruto says, hearing the scream was close yet a bit further ahead from where they were. They hear the scream again and felt that it sounded familiar when Tekna realizes something. Wait, you guys don't think that? Tekna says as the others soon begin to realize just who were in trouble. Elsewhere in the swamp. Someone, help. Timmy cries out to the sky. He and the rest of the specialists were bound by the same living plants, leaving them tripped and hanging off the ground. Well, this is embarrassing. Sky says as he and Brandon just hung while Riven, who was annoyed by Timmy's screams and the plants tying him as he tries to move and reach his phantom twin Sai, but with each movement he made, the vine's grip became tighter, causing Riven to not be able to move after some time had passed. They soon hear something coming to them from the bushes, hoping that it wasn't something that had heard them and came to eat them. Instead, they see the fairies and their blonde companion emerge from the bushes. On second thought, they'd rather prefer an animal, eating them instead of the girls and Naruto seeing them in this situation. Didn't think we'd meet each other again so soon out here gentlemen. Naruto chuckles at the sight of the trapped warriors. Flora walks over to the plants and calms them down, long enough to make the plants' vines unwrap and release the specialists as they fall to the ground. They slowly got up with Naruto and some of the girls helping them back up with Riven pulling his arm from Musa who was helping him. Naruto looks at them with a serious expression. Okay, look dudes. You're looking for the troll and we're looking for the troll. I'd think we'd have a better chance at finding this BSTRD if we work together. Naruto says. Naruto's right. Strength in numbers, right? Bloom says as the fairies and the specialists thought about this and agreed that it was a good idea to stick together. Well, when I said the specialists, I meant most of them. I refuse to team up with fairies and a mechanic. Riven says as he turns his head while having his arms crossed to his chest. His pride didn't want him, needing help from others that were even trained in combat. Okay man, good luck finding the troll on your own. But if you do find him, make sure to yell for us. Brandon says as Riven scoffs and follows the group as they leave the area. Brandon, Sky, walks over to Bloom and walks beside her. It's nice to see you again, Bloom. Sky whispers. He was about to grasp Bloom's left hand when someone sneaks behind them and speaks. Why are you whispering? We're out of the danger zone. The fairy and specialist freak out and turn to see Naruto, grinning as he laughs from seeing their faces. Man, you guys get scared too easily. Naruto laughs. Bloom pouts and punches him on his shoulder. Naruto. Don't do that. You nearly gave me a heart attack. Bloom says as Naruto calms down a bit and places his hand at the back of his head. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Naruto says as Bloom stops pouting and playfully glares at him. Just promise that you won't do something like that again. Bloom says, but Naruto just grins at her. Can't promise that, Bloomy Bloom. Naruto says as he laughs and walks on ahead, leaving a pouting Bloom. Naruto. Bloom yells as she walks after him, accidentally leaving an upset Sky behind with Riven walking up to him, having a smirk of his own. Looks like he stole your girl again. That's got hurt. Riven whisper to the long-haired blonde who ignores his teasing and continue on their search. 15 minutes later, the group made it out of the forest and find themselves at a river where they assumed the troll had crossed earlier, due to the trees having claw marks on the trunks. They couldn't cross the river, there really was no bridge to go over it. I can see a way on how we can cross this river without getting wet and safely. Timmy says. Brandon looks around the river and spots several large logs, floating in the river's current. What about these logs? We could use them to hop across the river, no problem. Brandon says as he points to the logs, making everyone see them. Seems like a good idea. Just we're jumping. Naruto says as he was the first to jump off the land and onto a log and successfully land on it. Brandon follows him and lands on a log next to him as Naruto gives him a thumbs up. Timmy decides to go next and jumps for one, but he miscalculated the power of his jump and instead, lands in the water. Timmy submerges back to the surface as the others laugh at his mistake, but Riven growls. Great, first we've got the fairies and mechanic to look after and now we've got to take care of a clumsy Timmy. This mission really is turning out to be a big disaster after another. Riven says, which angers the specialists while upsetting the girls on his behavior. Naruto hops over to Timmy and helps him onto a log. After he hears what Riven says, he jumps back to land and walks up to him. Okay, dude. I really don't know what your deal is, but I've just about had it with your CRP. All you've done is beach and over this when I see you haven't done jack. That's your teammate and yet, you only care that you think he'll be a burden instead on check if he's okay from that. Naruto says as he faces Riven and glare into his eyes. Please, you're a mechanic and an amateur racer at best. Like you know a thing on catching a troll and fight. Riven says with Naruto just intensifying his glare, unaware that his irises were turning red with his pupils starting to slit. Riven sees his eyes changing but chalks it up as a change in lighting. Oh, I know enough. Since I kicked your sorry but in last year's Corsa Furileg star. So, turn your attitude back a notch or I'll do it for you. Naruto says. Oh yeah? And how are you going to do that? Riven asks. Naruto suddenly just grabs him by his collar. I'll just show you what I can do. Naruto growls. Everyone was intense as the girls see Naruto's mark start to glow, and knew that Naruto was about to draw his sword out. Flora reacts and gets in between the two. Okay, let's calm down before we do something we'll regret later. Flora says. Naruto looks at her for a bit before he turns back to Riven. With some hesitation, Naruto lets go of Riven and walks away from him, taking deep breaths. That's it, Riven. If you keep this up, then you're off the team, both here and at Red Fountain when we get back. Brandon says. Riven looks away and sees that everyone was giving a hardened look and knew that he couldn't win this argument. Alright, fine. Let's go find that stupid troll. Riven finally says as he walks over to the riverside. The specialists look at each other and nod, knowing to keep an eye on Riven. The girls follow them but Flora stays as she watches Naruto calming down. You alright Naruto? Flora asks. Naruto took one last, long deep breath and lets it out as he turns and looks at her, with his normal irises and pupils again. Yeah, I am now. Thanks for stopping me from almost cutting that JRK in half Flora. Really appreciate it. Naruto says as Flora smiles and waves his thanks off. It was nothing really. Just, I really didn't like seeing you that angry. It doesn't feel right for you. Flora says as Naruto nods. I know, it didn't feel right for me too. Naruto says. Come on. We got no time to waste. Naruto says as they catch up to the rest. They all were standing by the water as one by one, start to jump onto the logs and hop across the river. While they were doing so, Brandon decides to talk to Naruto, to get to know him. So, Naruto, was it? Tell me, what realm do you come from? Brandon asks as Naruto just shrugs his shoulders. Don't know. Naruto says, which makes the specialists confused on why he doesn't know where he's from. The girl, however, knew thanks to knowing his secret and current condition. What do you mean you don't know? Timmy asks as Naruto, again just shrugs his shoulders as he jumps 2 more logs. I don't remember where I'm from. Not a thing up until 3 years ago. Naruto says. What's with you? Were you hit in the head or something? Riven asks rudely, causing everyone to glare at him. Naruto stops jumping as a something flashes in his mind, causing him to grab his head. What's with you, Dobe? Were you hit in the head or something when you were younger? Naruto, 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 Naruto. Naruto snaps back to reality when he hears someone call out to him. He turns around and sees almost everyone was looking at him with concerned expressions. Naruto, are you okay? Bloom asks concerned, after seeing Naruto holding his head and looking like he was in pain for a brief moment before they brought him back after whatever he was in. Naruto looks at everyone for a bit before turning back and hopping onto the next log in front of him. Sort of. Naruto just says, without turning back to the others as he continues to jump. The specialists look at one another. In confusion at Naruto's change in behavior, but they too jump towards the others while the girls look at one another with frowns as they knew something had changed in Naruto but silently decide to hold it to themselves for now until they all could speak about in private. As the ragtag team of fairies, specialists and human were hopping their way to the other side of the river, Stella started to notice something about the logs. Hey, is it just me, or are these logs moving? Well, we are on a river, Stella. Yeah, but they're moving literally fast. Even before I can even jump onto one. Stella says as the rest start seeing that the logs were moving quite fast down the river. They look at the end and see a swirl was forming until they saw. There's a whirlpool forming at the end. We have to get to the shore fast. Flora yells. They all start hopping to the shore fast as the current starts to pick up speed. Don't fall into the water, or you'll be dragged by the current into the whirlpool. Sky says. They continue to hop on the logs as one by one, were making it to land. Riven jumps of one last log but it moves, causing him to miss and land in the water. Riven. Sky yells as the others watch Riven get dragged away by the river's current. Help. Riven yells. Tekna was the closest to him and she grabs his hands. Gotcha, Riven. Hold on. Tekna yells. She tries to pull him up but with his weight and how strong the current was, she was having difficulty pulling him up. So much so, that she was starting to lose her footing on her log. Don't let go of me. Riven yells as the two was inching closer to the whirlpool. Tekna continues to hold on to the purple-haired specialist until she suddenly lost her footing. She was about to fall into the water when someone grabs hold of her ankles. Got ya, Tekna. Naruto shouts as he holds onto the tech-savvy's legs. He powers through the current and starts pulling the two back to land. Once he was close enough to land, the other specialists grab hold of Naruto and pull him, helping him pull the others too. Once they all touch the ground, Naruto gave one last pull and pulls Tecna and Riven onto the shore, saving them. They all fall onto the ground and breathe from exhaustion, especially Naruto and Tecna. The tech fairy turns to her side and seeing her savoir was panting as she smiles at him. "Thanks for saving me, Naruto." Tecna says as Naruto turns to her and gives her a smile of his own. "No problem. It's the least I can do," Naruto says. Riven looks at them right before standing up. "Come on guys. We've got a troll to catch, we've lost too much time already," Riven says, walking away from them. The others look at him before turning to each other, confused as to why he did thank them on saving him but, right before shrugging their shoulder, thinking that his pride wouldn't let him thank them. They get up and follow the purple-haired team as they continue their journey. Just a few minutes passes with our heroes walking through the forest until something happened. Oh! They hear someone scream. Someone is in trouble. Timmy yells while Naruto just looks at him deadpanned. "Yeah, I think we know that, Tim, since we all heard that too," Naruto says. "That sounded like Amari," Bloom says, recognizing the voice. They run in the direction where the scream came from. They move through the bushes and find three girls, cornered by the troll by a hill. They're trapped and they can't use their powers to stop him. "We've got to save before the troll hurts them." "Yeah, we need a plan that can make us go quickly and to the point," Brandon says as Riven turns to the fairies. "Can't you guys just use your fairy powers and make the troll fall asleep or something?" Riven asks as Bloom and the others shake their heads. "We can't. We're not allowed to use magic at all. Otherwise, we'd fail our assignment," Bloom explains, hating that they couldn't use their power, even if it was a life-and-death situation. "Okay, we don't need your power. What we need is a plan in trying to capture him. First, we need to distract him. So, phase 1 of the plan, let the girls distract him," Brandon says as the girls look at him with wide eyes. "What? I hope there's a phase 2 in your plan and that it doesn't involve us getting eaten." Stella yells, she was not liking this plan already. No one noticed Naruto sneak away from them and go around the area. "Relax, Stella, there is a phase 2. And it's with Brandon and Timmy going for his legs while Riven and I will go for his arms. We'll try and hold him down long enough for those fairies to run away and for us to slip the cuffs on him," Brandon says as Sky's eyes go wide. "Wait, I don't have the addle shackles," Sky says, causing the others to turn to him. "What? I thought you had the cuffs with you all this time," Riven says as Sky starts thinking about where the cuffs could be until his mind remembers where they are to his horror. "I think we left them back at the ship." Sky says this might be a problem for them. "Wait, what will Naruto do?" Bloom asks as she looks around for the blonde but saw him nowhere around them. "Oh yeah. Naruto, you could just hide since we don't know if you can fight, but if you can help us with Dash," Brandon was saying but stopped as he notices the lack of Naruto. "Wait, where is he?" Timmy asks as they look for him. "He said not to use your magic, but he never thought about me using mine." They turn to see Naruto, with his katana out, running and jumping off the hill. The girls were cornered by the troll. He lands at the back of the troll and swings his blade onto its back, causing black blood to gush out from the cut, and the troll shouts from the pain as Naruto jumps and flips backward before landing back on his feet. "Hey ugly. Remember me?" Naruto asks as the troll turns at him and sniffs the air before picking up his scent. It growls as it glares at Naruto and the blonde sees it glare while the trapped fairies run away from them. "Ha, you do. Nice shiner you got there. Wonder if you'd like some more as payback for punching me through 2 walls back then," Naruto says as the troll went to try and punch Naruto, but the blonde just jumps over it as it slams its hands onto the ground, causing a crater to form. Naruto lands on its side. Miss me, miss me. Now you got to, actually, let me not finish that. Rather kiss a hot lady than your ugly mug. Naruto says as the troll tries to swing a left hook to him, but Naruto reacts to it and jumps in the air. While in mid-air, Naruto was in front of the troll's face and he spins a bit before delivering a heavy kick onto the side of the troll's head, making it spill out saliva as it stumbles back. Naruto lands on his feet and spins his katana around. Time to end this. Naruto says as he stops spinning his katana and lifts it over his head, with it starting to glow red as sparks start to ignite off the blade. The troll shakes the cobwebs from the kick as it glares at Naruto and rushes to him. The blonde sees this and smirks, knowing that it had fallen for his trap. Take this. Flaming slash. Naruto yells, SWNGNG, his katana down and an arc of orange flames shot from Naruto's blade, flying straight toward the troll. The troll and flaming arc intercept as the arc strikes the troll onto his chst and the troll gets thrown backward, right into the hill's rocky wall and is embedded into it with a loud crash, covering the area in dust. The dust starts to clear away as the troll is still embedded in the rock wall with him having a new injury on his chst, and thanks to the flames of Naruto's attack, the injury was now forming as an X-like scar on his chst after being cauterized, to permanently remain on the troll's body for the rest of its life. Naruto looks at the troll and sees that it was knocked out and smiles. Next time, don't use your fists in a sword fight. Naruto says as he spins his katana around before it disappears in a flash. He walks back to the group with his arms at the back of his head. Naruto walks back and sees the specialists were in complete shock while the girls had wide eyes. They had seen Naruto in action a few times but had never seen him defeat something that fast before. What's with you guys? Naruto asks, reaching them as he asks the how did you do that? Sky finally finds the words as Naruto just raises one eyebrow. How'd you do that attack with your sword, that fire move? Riven asks. Oh, I have magic stored in my blade. I use it for specific attacks that I invented. I call it elemental flow strikes. I can use the elements like fire and wind to make long or short range attacks with each having different uses and attacks. I'm busy with adding water and earth into the style. Naruto says as he turns to the purple-haired specialist. And Riven, don't assume that someone can't fight from just a glance at them. That type of thinking will lead you in getting killed in combat with an opponent if you assume they are weak. Remember that, fellas. Naruto says as his mark glows and the Adel shackles appear in his hand. Here you go. You left it back at the ship when me and the girls investigated there. I picked them up and stored them in my storage seal. Next time, make sure you have them with you. Naruto says as he tosses the cuffs to Brandon, who catches them but was still processing what had happened. Let's go and get the troll out of that hill, and cuff him. Riven says as he, Sky, and Brandon walk over to the troll. Timmy stays and taps Naruto on his shoulder, making the spiky blonde face him. What's up, Tim? Naruto asks. Can you teach anyone how to use your style? Timmy asks as Naruto places his hand on his chin and starts thinking about it. He really never thought about teaching anyone his style before. I don't know if you can use your phantom weapons to do it or that they could withstand the attacks. Oh, I see. Timmy says, but Naruto wasn't finished. But I can teach you how to fight more effectively, and also help buckle you up a bit. I can see you're a bit scrawny to the others. Ah, really? Timmy asks as Naruto. Yeah, I can totally do that. Thank you so much, I won't let you down. Timmy. Get over here, we could use your help pulling this fat lag out. Oh right. Sorry. I'm coming. Timmy says as he runs over to the others. Amare and the two other girls who were trapped walk over to Naruto and the girls. Amare, are you and the others okay? Bloom asks. Yeah, we are. Thanks to this hero right here. Amarei says as she faces Naruto. Thanks a lot for saving us from that troll, we won't know what to do if you had shown up like that. Amarei says as Naruto waves her off. It was no biggie. I was in the wood doing my thing when I heard you guys screaming and knew something was wrong. Naruto says. Do you go to Red Fountain? The second girl asks as Bloom and the other's eyes widen, thinking that Naruto was about to expose himself. Nope, I'm a drifter. I blew into the forest to set up camp for the night when I heard you scream. So, I grabbed my weapon and ran here. Naruto says, clearly lying as Bloom and the rest let a mental sigh of relief hearing the lie. Amarei took out a pen and piece of paper and starts writing something. Well, still thank you. The third girl says with Naruto just nodding. Amarei stops her writing and walk over to Naruto, facing in front of his face as she smiles. If you ever find yourself in Magix, give me a call if you want to, know the city better. I could show you around. Amarei says as she hands Naruto the piece of paper. I'll keep that in mind. Naruto says as Amarei winks at him as she and the other two fairies walk to the specialists. Naruto looks at his hands, where the paper was, and opens it to see a phone number with XOXOXO on it. Great, I know I lied but it seems I should have worn my mask. Naruto says as he looks up and sees the trio dissing the specialists before walking away. Well, aren't they grateful? Naruto thought as he turns and sees that the boys were feeling a bit bad on how they let things go out of hand. Hey, how about I help you get him out of there and help drag him back to your ship? Naruto asks as the specialists turn to him, not expecting him to do that for them. Really, you do that? Sky asks as Naruto nods. Yeah. Naruto says, causing them to look at each other before turning back to him and smile. Sure man, you can help us. Sky says Naruto walk over to them to help. Time skip, 3 hours later. Time, 1700 hours PM. It was the afternoon in Magix and in the air, the now repaired red fountain was soaring to the location where the girls were told to appoint to when they leave the forest. The troll was in its holding cell, handcuffed and this time, really chained to the cell's wall as it was still knocked out but had bandages wrapped over its chest. The specialists were in their seats while the girls and Naruto were standing by them as fly through the air. Well, today was something else. Sly says, feeling relieved that the day was over. Yeah, but you've got to admit that it was pretty exciting. Timmy says as they all couldn't lie about that. See, I told you girls that there'd be excitement in this adventure. Naruto says with a grin as he girls giggle. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Stella says. Naruto then remembers the gardening items he left back at the clearing. Well, I'll see you all later. I've got things to go back for in the forest on the other side. Can't leave them there or they'll die out here. Naruto says as he goes over to the hatch and presses the hangar door to open, making everyone turn to him as the wind was blowing into the aircraft. Wait, Naruto, what are you doing? Flora asks. Something dangerous, stupid but pretty cool. Yeah. Naruto yells as he runs and jumps out of the aircraft, free-falling into the forest. The others look out the windows and see him descend into the trees until he disappears into the forest. Is that guy crazy or something? Sky yells, not knowing what to think about what just happened as the girls knew that they had to tell Faragonda about this, seeing that Naruto was pretty reckless. He didn't have a parachute. Timmy yells, realizing that Naruto didn't take one of the aircraft's emergency chutes. Blondes, crazy blondes. Riven sighs. Time skip, 3 more hours later. Althea the girls' dorm. You want us to have a name for ourselves? The 4 girls ask, after hearing what Bloom suggested. They all were back at Althea after completing their task, with the specialists dropping them off near the exit location. They met up with Naruto back at campus and Bloom and Stella pinched his cheeks for scaring them over his jump and freefall. And the blonde himself? He was with them in their dorm with band-aids on his cheeks, sore from the pinches he received. Yeah, I've been thinking about it since the first day when we met the witches. I thought it'd be cool if we had a name for our group. What do you guys think? Bloom asks as her pet bunny, Kiko, was pondering over it. Tenka was thinking about the idea too and thought it was a good idea. Actually, it's not a bad idea. A name is good for a good reference. Tekna says. Stella stands up after sitting on the floor. That is true. The 3 witches we've faced are called the Tricks. And we can be called something that represents us. Like, the Super 5? No, the Stella 5? Oh, I've got it. The Air Fairies. Stella chants as everyone was confused about the last one. The what? Air Fairies? What's that? Musa and Naruto ask. The Air Fairies. Come on, it's short and sweet, and it's rhymes. What's wrong? Don't you two like it? Stella asks as Musa just waves it off. Nah, sounds terribly. Musa says, not approving the name while Naruto just sheepishly smiles. Sorry Stella, can't find myself calling you guys that without laughing. Naruto says as he rubs the back of his head. Stella pouts and slouches her shoulders in defeat. I think we should let Bloom come up with the name since she's the one who thought of the idea. Flora says with Tekna and Musa raising their hands. I agree. Tekna and Musa yell. Really? Bloom asks, surprised as they all nod. Yeah, Bloom. What do you have? Naruto asks. Bloom goes to her bedside nightside and opens one of her drawers and pulls something out. Well, I was sketching something last week after the dance and I thought it was pretty cool if we could use it. It's simple, but catchy at the same time. Bloom says as she shows them all a sketch of a logo that said, Winx. Whoa, this looks amazing. Stella says as she gawks at the drawing. Flora and Musa look at it too and thought it was pretty. Naruto looks at it and was impressed at Bloom's artistic skills. Yeah, but what does Winx mean? Tekna asks, confused over the meaning of the word. Well, it means nothing really, it just winks. Or better yet, we're the Winx Club. Bloom replies happily as she moves her hands side to side and sparks of magic course off her fingertips. Well, nice name ladies. Well, I got things to do tomorrow. So, I'll see you later. Good night. Naruto says he was about to go to his hidden hatch to the tunnels when Bloom stops him. Naruto wait. Bloom calls to him, making the teen stop and turn to her. Yeah, Bloom. Naruto asks. You're in the Winx Club too. As an official member. Bloom happily says as Naruto looks at her with a dumbfounded expression as only one thing could into his mind when it finishes processing what she said. What? That was what Naruto had uttered as we returned back to where we left our young fairies in training in human with the girls now having named their little group, Winx Club, and Naruto just found out that he was in it as well, much to his surprise and confusion. The others see his dumbfounded expression. Is something wrong, Naruto? Flora asks, seeing Naruto frown a bit. And no. Nothing's wrong. I'm just surprised by this, Bloom. You want me to be in your club? Naruto asks, honestly surprised. Yeah, is something wrong with that? Musa asks. It's just I'm not a fairy. Naruto says. You don't have to be a fairy to be a Winx Club member, Naruto. Besides, you have helped and saved our butts before and I think that should be enough for you to be a founding member with us. Bloom says, trying to convince the blonde in joining them but I'm not a fairy though. Naruto says again as he really didn't want to be a part of this. No offense to the girls, he loves hanging out with them since they've accepted him but he really didn't want to intrude in their fun all the time. The girls look at one another as they thought about how to convince Naruto in joining the club. And that was when Stella gained an idea on how to convince the male blonde. Okay then, you could be the first male and only human in the Winx Club. Plus, you are like Alfia's very own specialist since you do use your own weapons just like the guys at Red Fountain use when they fight. Stella says, which causes Naruto and the others to actually think about her words and found actually irony in them, seeing that he was Alfia's secret student and that he uses melee weapons instead of traditional magic spells just like the specialists at Red Fountain do, as Naruto starts to chuckle at the thought. Ha ha ha, okay, when you actually put it like that and think about it. It is kind of funny and ironic at the same time. Naruto laughs while shaking his head. He turns to the girls. Alright, you win, girls. It does sound pretty cool, so I'll be honored to be a Winx Club member. Naruto says as he gives it a foxy smile which causes them to smile too. Bloom jumps and claps her hands. Alright. And with that, the Winx Club is officially born. Bloom cheers as magic particles spark from her handclap as everyone just cheers and laughs with her, as this would be the day known to them only, where bonds and trust will form and flourish as the years go by. Alfea Kitchen. Evening. A few days later. A few days have passed since the eventful field trip into the Black Swamp Forest, meeting with the specialists, dealing with the runaway troll, and the founding of the Winx Club, where we once again find ourselves at Alfea, with the time of day currently being evening, as we find our young fairies in training in school's kitchen, peeling potatoes for the evening's dinner, as it was a custom for all of the students to assist in making the evening's dinner every 2 weeks in the month. And where was Naruto, you might ask? He was currently helping the head chef with something, and the two had to step out for a bit for this task. As Bloom, Musa, Flora, and Tekna were busy peeling the many potatoes, the Earth Fairy couldn't help but find this task annoying and odd. Ah, I hate doing kitchen duties. I just don't get it. Bloom says while peeling away with Musa standing beside her. What is it that you don't get, Bloom? Musa asks, with Bloom placing her peeled vegetable down into the bowl with the others as she turns to the rest. Why would a school filled with magical fairies and teachers can't use magic to help cook dinner? Bloom asks as she takes off her apron. And how would you fix that, Bloom? Flora asks as Bloom walks over to the door and starts to float with the use of her magic. That's easy. All you have to do is wave the magic wand, snap your fingers, wiggle your nose a couple of times, and tada. Everything is ready without you lifting a knife. Bloom says as she lands down on the ground, not noticing the door behind her had opened during her explanation. However, home-cooked and handmade meals tasted a lot better than magic-made meals. And are much healthier. Trust me, I know from experience. A man walks into the kitchen with Naruto right behind him, carrying a box of pasta with him. This man was a paunchy man with blue-black hair. He had a thin, handlebar mustache and a goatee. He wore a white chef hat and a white chef coat with yellow buttons. And had a white apron and a red ascot on. He also wore dark blue pants with horizontal and vertical black stripes, giving the pants a plaid-like appearance. This man was known as Sfolia, the head chef of Alfea. Plus, there was an incident years ago with students using magic to cook that night's dinner for them instead. That plan went bad quickly, as the magic spell they used made things go too fast and destroyed the kitchen and that evening's dinner, with the rest of the school going hungry that night and the following day. So, that's why the students today aren't allowed to use magic to cook anything here. 'Cause it'll just bring havoc to the place. Naruto says, remembering a story Sfolia told him years ago when he started helping him in the kitchen. Bloom looks at the two with a nervous expression, knowing she got caught. Trying to use the easy way. Ahahaha, hi Mstr Sfolia and Naruto. Bloom greets Sfolia just walking around the kitchen while Naruto just places the box he was carrying down and hands Kiko a carrot. How is the side dish coming along? Sfolia asks as he walks over to the 3 other fairies to check on how they were doing. We're almost finished, sir. Musa says as she finishes peeling a potato. Sfolia looks at the peeled potato and takes it from her and sees an issue with this one and the others they were peeling. These potatoes are too small. Take off less skin. Sfolia says with him putting the potato into the bowl of the other peeled ones. He then takes around and sees another issue. He was 5 pans with omelets frying and no one was looking after them. And what about the omelets? Don't forget to flip them and don't let them burn. Sfolia yells at the girls, causing them to flinch and drop their peelers. Why yes sir. The girls stutter and run to the pans. Cooking is an art, young ladies. You have to be patient with this art if you want your masterpiece to be perfect. Sfolia says before turning to Naruto, who had put on an apron and was washing his hands. Naruto my boy, can you please help them flip the omelets while I look at the boiling potatoes? Sfolia says as Naruto turns to him and nods. Sure Mstr Sfolia. Naruto says as he goes over to the girls and takes hold of one of the pans. When I've graduated from here, I'm definitely ordering takeout every night. Musa says. And get fat. Trust me Musa, while this seems like a pain in doing every week, it does teach you to learn on being dependent on your own self and not on other things to help you every time. Naruto says as Musa thought about what he said about getting fat from eating takeout and saw that he had a point. Point made. Musa says as Sfolia returns to them. Alright. Now, let us see you flip these omelets. Sfolia says as the teens start to prepare their omelets for the flip. Naruto starts his first and flips the omelet in the air before it successfully lands back onto the pan on the other side. Flora does her after him and she too successfully does her flip as well. Tekna was next and flips her, but when it landed back onto the pan, it didn't flip onto the other side, causing her to do it again until it lands on the uncooked side. Musa does her flip, but when she does it, she used a bit too much force into the flip, making the omelet stay in the air a bit longer than the others. Once it falls back down to the ground, Musa catches it, but a bit of it was on the side of the pan, nearly slipping on the floor. It was Bloom's turn and she does her flip too much, causing the omelets to hit the ceiling. Everyone turns to her as she sheepishly smiles and looks up to see the omelets slide off the ceiling and land on the spinning fan just above them. Ahaha, whoops, I'm so sorry, I have no idea how it happened. Well, what are you waiting for? Somebody turn off the fan. Sfolia commands as Flora runs to the wall, where the control SWCH was located. I got it. Flora says. She flicks the SWCH to one side, thinking that was how the fan would turn off, but instead, the fan started going faster. Come on down little omelet, don't be afraid. Trust me, no one's gonna eat you. Musa says as Bloom laughs at her joke. Especially now thanks to all the dust and germs up there. Naruto says. Sfolia was gritting his teeth in anger from this mistake. I said, turn it off. Sfolia yells, but his yell sounded like an opera singer's voice as they were hitting the high note. Flora flicks the SWCH to the other side, causing the fan to come to a complete stop with the omelet getting sent flying across the air with the teens watching it fly. The omelet then lands and hits Sfolia right on his head, covering him in egg. Well, that's one way for getting your eggs on the fly. Naruto jokes, causing the girls to barely hold back their giggles while Chef Sfolia was wiping the egg meal off of his face. I'll have a word with the head MSTRS about granting you girls a permanent ban from kitchen duties. Oh, you young fairies cause more trouble than help. And now, I must go and get cleaned up before serving time. So, while I am away, I'm leaving Naruto in charge and don't cause any more mess. My boy, please look over things for me. Sfolia says as Naruto nods. You got it MSTR Sfolia. Naruto says, and with that, the chef walks out of the kitchen to go get cleaned up. The blonde turns to the girls. Alright ladies. Let's get this finished and ready. And remember, don't take too much skin off the potatoes. Naruto says with the girls nodding. Okay. The girls say as they walk back to their stations and start peeling the potatoes once more but with extra care. Naruto goes over to the pans to check over the omelets and saw that they were doing okay, so he lowers the heat on the oven and let them set. "Hey Flora, how's the roast doing?" Naruto asks with the nature lover going over to the stove and opening it and seeing that the roast was doing okay. "Everything is okay here," Flora says as Naruto smiles and gives her an thumbs up. "Sweet," Naruto says. As they continue doing their tasks, the door widely swings open and Stella walks in, looking rather excited and happy. "Guys, do I got some pretty wild news for you?" Stella yells with Tecna turning to her with an unamused expression. "We know, you managed to dodge kitchen duty again. Congratulations Stella," Tecna says as she resumes peeling. "Oh, but I've got a perfect and valid reason for that, you know," Stella says, causing the girls and Naruto to turn to her. "And what is it?" Musa asks. "I'm going out tonight. I've got a date," Stella declares as everyone else just looked deadpanned at this. This was the reason she skipped out on kitchen duty? "Oh, that sure is a valid reason indeed Stella," Bloom says. "I received an invitation." "Guess who from?" Musa asks, curious about this. "Alright, I'll bite." "From who?" Musa asks as Stella pulls out a note from her skirt and shows it to them. "Prince Sky. Can you believe it?" Stella asks as everyone saw the written note. "Wait, the brunette and the specialists. He sent you an invite?" Naruto asks, remembering the fellow as Stella nods. "And it's an invitation to the Black Lagoon. It's an exclusive club where the royal and the famous are only let in," Stella says, reading the note. Naruto stops his task for a moment and thought about what the place Stella just said. The Black Lagoon. Never heard of a club or place like that before, and I know Magic City like the back of my hand. Naruto says as he starts thinking about this place as he's never seen or heard of a place like that before from his trips around Magix. Must be a new place then. Bloom suggests as Naruto nods slowly. Could be. Naruto says as he thinks on this and found it to be a bit fishy but dismissed the idea that maybe it was a new place that may have just opened up. "Yeah, but I have no idea what to wear tonight. I'm so confused about what to pick. Could you guys help me pick something out?" "Sure, we'd love to help you find a dress for your date," Bloom says as she turns to Naruto. "Hey Naruto, could you do us a favor and look over things for us while we quickly help Stella with getting ready for her date?" Bloom says as Naruto just gives her a thumbs up. "Of course, you guys can go and help Stella and find what dress she could wear for the date," Naruto says as the girls thank him and exit the kitchen. Naruto looks around and saw that there were still some potatoes that needed to be peeled and chopped, so he goes over to one of the stations and grabs a peeler, and starts peeling one of the potatoes as he felt something eerily wrong with Stella and her date with Sky. Something about this doesn't feel right to me at all on this whole thing. I mean, they recently just met and now the guy wants to meet up with Stella on a date. I didn't take him for a guy who'd immediately ask a girl he just met out on a date, especially with him being a prince. And the place's name. The Black Lagoon, even that sending chills down my spine. Naruto mutters to himself as he tries to shake this feeling off and try to force on his task while thinking he was being paranoid over nothing. As he was peeling away and time passes, an awful smell hit his nose, causing him to stop what he was doing. What's that? Smells like smoke. Naruto yells as he turns and sees one of the omelets was on fire. He quickly drops everything in his hands and runs over to the stove. He turns off the heat and grabs over mitts before taking the flaming pan to one of the kitchen sinks before dousing the flame with water, extinguishing it. Man, that was close. Naruto sighs. I see that you took care of that quickly and safely. Naruto hears a voice speak behind him and he turns around to see Griselda standing there. Oh, hey auntie. What's up? Naruto asks as he goes over to the oven and switches it off before the roast would burn. I came to oversee how the girls were doing in assisting Mstr Chef Sfolya with tonight's dinner. Where is he? Asks, seeing the chef wasn't there with them while casting a spell to clear away the remaining lingering smoke in the air. Oh, Super Chef Sfolya had to stand out to go and get cleaned up after a little mishap with dinner happened. Naruto explains as he goes over to the other pans and switches off their hot plates while checking on the omelets. Griselda nods and notices one more missing piece. And the girls? Where are they? Griselda asks as Naruto freezes as he didn't know what to do. The girls said they'd be back quickly but they won't be back yet. Oh, well, Naruto stutters, struggling to find the right words to use in lying to his aunt on the whereabouts of the girls. And as if the universe was screwing with him tonight, Bloom, Musa, and Tekna burst through the door in a panic frenzy. Naruto, we smelled something burning from our room. Did something happen? Bloom yells but. Yes, something has happened indeed and you girls are involved in it. Griselda says, causing the girls to freeze. They slowly turn to their left and sees Griselda was glancing at them with a fierce frown and had her hands on her hips while Naruto was behind her, slapping his forehead as he cursed the timing on this. Your reliability is starting to wither away, girls. Griselda says, authority in her tone, which causes the girls and Naruto to flinch at. Now tell me, what was your reason for leaving the kitchen to one person to operate and nearly spoil this evening's dinner? Griselda asks as the girls look at each other for anything excuse to use before turning to Naruto and seeing him shrugging his shoulders. Well? Griselda asks as Bloom swallows the lump in her throat. Well, Miss Griselda, you see, the reason we had to leave, was. Bloom was trying to find any excuse for her to use in this situation and try and save them from getting into trouble but. I'm coming, girls. Flora's voice could be heard yelling just outside the kitchen right before the door was open wide and a nature fairy stumbles in, holding a fire extinguisher in her hands. She stumbles and falls to the ground with the fire extinguisher hitting the floor, causing it to go off and fly around the room, spraying everyone with its dry powder, with Griselda being the one getting the most on herself. Once the girls saw the state Griselda was in, they used everything in their willpower to hold back their laughter but a few giggles escaped their lips as the teacher wiped herself with a napkin as she turns to the girls. No one speaks of this. And get back to work. Griselda yells and leaves the kitchen and everyone else lets out their guilt breathes. Man, I thought we'd be in for it. Musa says as she wipes a bead of sweat from her forehead while Naruto shook his head. We got off lucky. If the kitchen wasn't being attended to and the dinner had burned, we'd be in a whole lot of trouble. Naruto says as he shivers at the last time he got into big trouble and Griselda punished him. The girls see Naruto shiver and they too shiver and thought what Naruto did to force Griselda to punish him and make him like this. After regaining his composure, Naruto turns to the girls. Okay, girls. Let's finish up here and get things ready for tonight. Naruto says as the girls nod and wear their aprons again as they start to dish up the omelets while Naruto was taking the roast out of the stove. So, did you guys help Stella with her dressing issue? Naruto asks with the girls nodding. Yep, she's already dressed and ready to go to the Black Lagoon. And she gave me this for safekeeping. Bloom says as she goes to her left pocket and pulls out the ring of Solaria, much to Naruto's shock. Her ring? Why would she give that to you? Naruto asks. She said it was too much and that she didn't need it for her date with Sky. Bloom explains and Naruto thought over and saw the point that Stella made. I can see the point that. Naruto says. The Winx then start to dish up the meals on the many plates and saw that they held a long night ahead for them. Althea Winx's dorm. Time, 22:30 p.m. And the night was long for them. After having been served the evening's delicious meal, the girls and Naruto were later punished by Griselda for not eating the dinner and having them wash all of the plates, glasses, and utensils by hand and pack them back into their correct places without the use of magic or fast skills. The girls and Naruto enter the girls' dorm as this was the quickest way down to his tunnels, all exhausted, both physically and mentally. "I'm exhausted," Bloom exclaims as she yawns with Flora yawning as well. "Same, I'm heading to my bed and passing out. I'll see you all in the morning," Flora says. "Night, Flora," Naruto says as Flora waves goodbye to him. "Good night, guys." Flora yawns out as she enters her and Bloom's room to head to bed. As he stretches and yawns too, he notices Musa and Tekna were talking together and saw that the music lover had a frown on her face. "What's wrong, Musa?" Naruto asks with the girl in question turning to him. "I'm bored and jealous of Stella that she skipped out on the kitchen and is out on the town. I want to go out too. With or without a date," Musa says as she pouts and crosses her arms over her chest. "Well, it would be better if someone were to ask you out," Bloom says as Tekna scoffs at that logic. "I really don't see the point in dating," Tekna says as she found dating illogical. "Well, you should try it out anyway. It's fun," Bloom says with Tekna just crossing her arms. "I still don't get it, I mean," Tekna says. "Then you've got nothing to lose at all. But just try it out and who knows. Maybe you'll actually enjoy it," Musa says as Tekna starts to think about the idea of dating but she had no idea who to do it with. "Naruto, have you been on a date before?" Bloom asks as the blonde just smiles and shakes his head. "Nope. Seeing that I'm not supposed to be known to the outside world at all. The purpose of me going on a date is never going to happen, but maybe I did go on one in my old life, but I'll never know it. Given my condition and all," Naruto says as the girls understand him. He then lets out a yawn and rubs his eyes, now feeling his exhaustion settling in. "Guess my plans on fixing my bike tonight are out the window," Naruto says while rubbing his eyes. He goes to the center of the hallway and kicks on the floor, causing a hatch to open up. "Night, girls, I'll see y'all later." Naruto yawns out as he goes into the hatch and slowly goes down into the tunnel. "Good night/night, Naruto," Naruto hears the girls say as the hatch closes as he heads through the tunnel, to his room so he could get some rest. The next day, classes had just ended and Naruto, walking through his tunnels, was heading to the girls' dorm to see if they wanted to hang out since it was his day off from work and his bike was nearly repaired as he needed it for an upcoming event later in the month. He walks for a little bit more until he reaches the ladder to the hatch door where the girls' dorm lay. He climbs up it and reaches the hatch and was about to open it when he hears someone knock onto it rapidly. He quickly opens it and he sees Bloom above him. "Hey Bloom, what's going on?" Naruto asks with Bloom looking at him with a worried expression. "I was about to come looking for you. We need your help," Bloom says. "What's wrong?" Naruto asks. He enters the dorm and saw the others were there as well but not Stella and he gets surprised as he sees the whole room was trashed and the balcony window was broken. "Whoa, what happened?" Naruto asks, seeing the damage. "It was Stella, something definitely wrong with her," Flora says. Naruto looks around and turns back to the girls. "Tell me everything," Naruto says as the girls start telling him about her strange attitude change from this morning all the way up to her not showing up to class and her altercation with Bloom to her disappearance. "So, you're telling me that Stella been acting weird this morning and you think that her date with Sky must have done something weird to her to make her like this?" Naruto asks. "Yeah, we think that could be the case," Tekna says. Naruto nods and turns to Bloom. "What do you think, Bloom? You were the one she interacted with last before vanished through the window," Naruto says as Bloom looks at everyone. "I don't think Sky could be the problem here," When I met her here, she was acting all evil and sinister. It felt like she was unrecognizable with how she was acting. Bloom says. What I don't really get is why was she so obsessed with her ring? Musa asks as Naruto remembers something from the night before. He turns to Bloom. Didn't you say that Stella gave you her ring just before going on to that date? Naruto asks with Bloom nodding and pulls out the ring from her pocket and shows it to everyone. Yeah, she did. Bloom. You think she could have lost her memories? Could something have happened during the date to make her confused? Flora asks. Even if that would be the case, we can't let anyone know about this. If this gets out to any of the teachers, Stella's gonna get into deep heat. Bloom says. Naruto and Musa walk away from them and look around the room for anything they could use to start. That's going to be hard, since it won't take them long to figure out that Stella's gone. Tekna says. An HRD on us to find her quick. She's not answering her phone. Where do we start? Flora asks. From the beginning. We start by going to the person who asked Stella out in the first place. Prince Sky of Musa says as the other turn around and sees her and Naruto holding a note, the same note from last night. Bloom walks over and takes the note from them. Alright, guess we're heading to Red Fountain. Bloom says and everyone nods. I'll go get a hoodie, a cap, and my mask to disguise myself. I'll meet you at the gate. Naruto says as the girls nod. They leave the dorm with Naruto going back into the tunnels to go get his disguise. Red Fountain entrance. Naruto was in his disguise, standing near the entrance to Red Fountain while waiting for the girls to come out and see if they got anything from the prince. He hears footsteps approaching and see the girls walking out of the academy but with an unhappy expression. Did he say anything that could be the cause of Stella's weird mood? Naruto asks as the girls just shake their heads no. No, he said he never went out last night. Bloom says. What? Naruto utters, confused. Apparently he was here the whole time, working out until 9 o'clock before collapsing in his bed. And he said he never wrote the note and that he never went to Magix at all last night or the week. Musa says as Naruto lets out a deep sigh. Great, well that was a bust. Guess we got to go to Magix next. Since that where the next location is. Naruto says. The Winx head down the path towards the bus stop as they stood there, waiting for the bus to Magix. You think that she could be there? Tekna asks. Remember, she said that the Black Lagoon was in the city and that is our best and only lead left. Naruto says. But you said that you've never heard of it until last night and you've been around Magix. How are we going to find her if we don't where to even look? Musa asks with the bus arrives, they board it as it heads off to the city. I got this. We can use my data program and search up the Black Lagoon on it. It should give us our answer in a flash. Tekna says. She uses a spell to conjure a map of Magix and types the name Black Lagoon on it and waits as the spell was locating the place but to her and the rest's surprise, the map didn't find it. Strange, my data isn't picking up anything. Tekna says, shutting her spell off as the others just get discouraged. Now what? Musa asks as the bus arrives at the city and they exit it. Naruto thinks about something until he realizes something that he can do and felt like an idiot for not thinking about it sooner. Oh my god. I'm an idiot. Naruto yells as he slams his head on a building wall. Startling the girls with his yelling and actions. Whoa, what's wrong Naruto? Bloom asks concerned as Naruto just rubs his forehead and turns to them. I forgot that I can sense magic presence and I memorized all your girls. If I concentrate hard enough, I could just locate Stella's magic presence and we'll find out where she is. Naruto explains as the girls now realize that was how he tracked them down the night they met in the alleyway on the first night of the school year. So, can you do it here? Tekna asks as Naruto nods. Yeah, just let me make the sense flow into me and I can track her from here. Naruto says. He takes in a deep breath and releases it before closing his eyes and starts feeling all the magical presence within the city and around it. Some were big while most were small. He felt Hank's even, but he was looking for Stella's, which to him, felt like it was a sun and moon shining. Got anything? Bloom asks as Naruto started to focus a bit more before he felt something. I think I sense her, but she feels like she's far from us, not too far away from where we are, but her magic feels faint, like really faint and being blocked by something. Naruto describes. But do you know where she is? Flora asks. Naruto doesn't answer, but he reopens his eyes and turns to the girls and points down the main road. It was hard, but I found her. She's just outside the city. We've got to go down this road and we'll be there. Naruto says. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go find our friend. Bloom says, with Naruto leading them to where he was seeing Stella. 45 minutes later. The Winx arrive at an abandoned clearing where they find a cottage in the middle of the clearing. Are you sure this is the place? Something about this place is giving me the chills. Musa says. Yes, everything here feels cold and dead. Flora asks, feeling the same eerie aura around them. Naruto closes his eyes and starts sensing Stella in the cottage, but her magic was really faint, but he senses something else in there. Stella's in there, but Naruto says, but stops as he glares at the building upon sensing what else was in the cottage. But what? Musa asks. Naruto doesn't answer and instead just rolls up his sleeves and flips his cap backward before pulling out his katana from his magical seal. We're not alone. Naruto just says before kicking the door down and walks in. Alright, I know you're in here. Come out or I'll cut through everything till I find you. Naruto yells. The others walk into the cottage when the door suddenly shuts, close and locks. Well, look who's here. A voice spoke from the shadows behind them. The five turn and see Stella walk out of the shadows with a smug yet sinister look on her face. My friends. Stella says as Naruto points his blade at her. Where's Stella? Naruto asks, causing the girls to look at him in confusion while Stella looks surprised. What are you talking about? I'm right here. Stella says. Nice try, Faker, but I can sense magical presence and I know how Stella's is. And yours isn't close to it at all. Yours is all dark and noisy with no harmony or rhythm. So I'll ask again. Where is Stella? Naruto growls out. The Faker flinches before she starts to fade away, only to reveal Darcy in her place. Darcy. You were faking as Stella so you could get her ring. Bloom yells, now connecting the dots. Tell us where the real Stella is. Naruto yells. Like I'll ever tell you. Darcy yells as she floats above our heroes and conjures up some magic from her hands and shoots blasts at the five. The Winx jump away from the blast and take cover with the use of the cottage. Bloom and Flora were hiding behind a support beam, Naruto behind a wall, and Tekna and Musa behind a table. Musa looks over to the rest and quickly notices the support beam Bloom and Flora were hiding behind was crumbling away fast. Their cover not gonna long much longer. Musa says with Tekna noticing too. You're right, I'll go over and provide a shield for them. Magic Winx. Tenka says, transforming into her fairy form and flying over to them. She quickly conjures up a shield and rushes over to the two, providing them the much-needed cover as they run from the pillar and take cover with Musa. Naruto jumps from his cover and rushes toward the girls. Darcy then opens fire on him, but using his acrobatic skills and swordsmanship skills, Naruto evades the blasts by flipping, jumping, and using his sword to deflect the blasts away from him. Okay, what's the plan, girls? Seeing that wasn't really Stella. Naruto asks as a blast went over his head, barely hitting him. Guess we have no other choice, we have to fight hoping that Darcy will tell us where Stella is. Bloom says as she turns to the girls. Ready girls? Bloom asks with them nods. Magic Winx. The trio yells and transforms into their fairy form. Naruto uses the magic in his sword and the blade catches fire, ready to use one of his techniques if needed. Darcy sees this and stops blasting her magic as she lands back on the floor. Looks like I'm outnumbered. Sisters. Darcy yells and two flashes of light blue and dark purple appear in the room. Icy and Stormy appear next to their sister after the flashes subside. Icy and Stormy. Flora says. Nice for you to finally join us. Now, tell us where Stella really is or you'll be in for one serious butt kicking. Bloom says. Icy just smirks and points up. Look up. Icy says, causing the Winx to look up and see Stella suspended in the air as she was bonded by 6 rings of light around her body. Let her go. Naruto shouts as he takes a step toward the witches, but Icy just snaps her fingers and Stella starts screaming from pain, causing the blonde to stop. Ah. Don't take another step close, little boy. Or else your friend might die from my ice binds squeezing her too much. Even the slightest touch from them and cause intense pain, Icy says as she snaps her fingers again and the binds around Stella shrink in size around her, causing Stella to scream once again from the pain before stopping. Naruto grits his teeth while clenching his katana's handle. What do you want? Naruto growls out, causing the Trix to smirk at this. We'll let her go. Only if you give us the Ring of Solaria. We know one of you has it. She told us everything. So, the ring or Stella's life? It's your decision. Icy says. Naruto started thinking on the situation. As if we'll listen to you blackmailers. It's 5-3. Bloom says, with fire starting to gather in her hands. Yeah, so get ready for the beating of your lives. Musa says. Naruto continues to be silent and looked at Stella and saw that she had an expression of pain and discomfort as the binds were starting to crush her. He made his decision with his bangs shadowing his eyes. Bloom, give me the ring. Naruto says, causing the girls to turn to him in shock. What? But if we do, then who knows what they'll do with it? Bloom says. Naruto just turns to her and looks at her with a serious expression. Just, give it to me. Naruto says. Bloom sees his expression and tone and knew that Naruto was serious about this. So, she only had one thing left to do. Alright. Bloom says as she drops out of her fairy form and hands Naruto the ring. And drop the sword and your fairy forms too. We don't want you to get any ideas. Icy says. Naruto drops and kicks his sword behind him while the other girls drop out of their fairy forms. The male blonde walks over to Icy and tosses the ring to her as it transforms into its scepter form. Icy catches it, smirks triumphantly, and snaps her fingers, causing the binds holding Stella to disappear and the princess to fall. Naruto runs and catches her, then turns to glare at the Trix. Sisters, we have the scepter. Now our goal is nearly in our grapes. Let's go. Icy says with the other two nodding. They group together and disappear in a flash. After seeing the Trix had left, Naruto looks down at Stella and see her hugging him. Are you okay? Naruto asks, but he didn't get a response from her. Instead, he hears her crying. I'm so sorry. I tried to fight back but they overpowered me and tied me to these binds. I'm so stupid for thinking that Sky wanted to date me. Stella says. Naruto felt bad for her, seeing that she was played and was tortured by the Trix. He starts to rub her back while holding her tightly. It's okay. It's okay. You didn't know. You were tricked. But everything will be alright, I can promise that to you. So don't cry, okay? You're too cute to cry. Naruto says as he pulls her face up from his chst and wipes the tears off her cheeks. Stella did blush from this, but she did start to feel a bit better. Thank you, Naruto. Stella says, burying her head onto Naruto's chest with the rest going over to them to see if Stella was alright. A few minutes later. The Winx were outside of the cottage, standing on a bridge that was at the clearing, feeling dumb and defeated with themselves after the loss of Stella's ring. And the blonde herself, was wearing Naruto's hoodie after he offered her, seeing that she was trapped by magic ice bindings for who knows how long. It was a trap all along, man, they got us good. Musa says, feeling utterly worthless after losing at the hands of the tricks. Tekna turns and glares at Naruto. I don't see why you did that. We could have beaten them, we outnumbered them 3-5. Tekna says. Naruto turns to her and just stares at her with a neutral expression. I couldn't take a risk that big, they had Stella in binds and we saw what those binds could do, they would have squeezed Stella to death if we attacked first. Me giving up the ring was the best option we had. Naruto says, but that didn't give Tekna the answer she wanted. But who were you to decide that for us? You aren't the boss for us. You don't even have magic of your own. Tekna yells, making the other girls gasp at her words. Tekna! Flora shouts, about to scold her when they felt a pulse of emotion coming from Naruto. Don't you think I know that? Naruto quietly says. The girls turn to him and see he was looking at Tekna as he had a furious expression on his face and see him gripping onto the wooden railing of the bridge and see it start to crack. You think I don't know that? I'm human, okay. I get it, I'm a human in a world filled with magical beings that could and can kill me without breaking a sweat. I know that compared to you all, I'm probably the strongest since I've got these two pools of mass energy in me, but I don't have a single clue on how to access them thanks to me losing my memories of how to even access them or do anything I knew when I knew who the hell I really am. Trust me, I've tried for nearly 2.5 years now, trying to pull at least one of them out, but I got nothing besides getting knocked out for some weird reason before hearing a voice, and before I could find that voice, I wake up in the nurse's office. I have to use AF sword to fight and I had to come up with ways in fighting just so I can survive. Naruto shouts right before punching the railing of the bridge and taking it to clean off as it soars through the clearing, disappearing into the sky. He takes deep breaths to calm down as the girls didn't know what to do. This was probably the first time they've seen Naruto this angry and upset before. After taking one last deep breath, Naruto turns to Tekna as his eyes were dull and emotionless. So yeah, I gave the enemy what they used and I may have doomed us all in doing so, but I couldn't let Stella die if I could do anything to stop it. So there, criticize me all you like, and if you have anything else to say to me, say it now, 'cause sooner or later, I'm gonna die or I'll be discovered and then be killed, all because of these DMN pools in me, and I honestly don't care anymore. Naruto says as he places his head down while tears were starting to fall. He was just about to break down when he felt two arms wrap around his waist from behind. He looks over his shoulder and sees red hair flowing in the wind behind him. Naruto! You're not just some ordinary human. You're you. You're someone that we've seen pull off some incredible things that none of us could dream of doing. You've saved me and the girls multiple times, me and Stella back on Earth when we met, at that alleyway when we first came to Magix and Althea, and helped us out before, even when you had no reason to. You're an amazing person and I know that one day you'll regain your memories. And even if you don't, we'll always be there for you. You're one of us, a Winx member, and once a Winx, always a Winx. Bloom says as Naruto turns to Flora, Musa, and Stella and sees them smile and nod to Bloom's words. Yeah, you're one fun and awesome dude to be around with, and I don't think I'd want to see you like this. Musa says. Yes, you're like a bright sun. You're always positive and cheerful. Please don't let that cloud of doubt and negativity affect you, Naruto. It really doesn't suit you. Flora says. Yeah, plus I'd think Althea would be a lot boring if you weren't around it. As Musa said, you're fun to be around, and I think I speak for the girls that we wouldn't trade you for anyone else and will protect you from anything that wants to harm you or take you away. Stella says. Naruto couldn't help but feel warm and happy upon hearing the words for the girls and saw that they meant them. He wipes his tears away and turns to face them as he smiles. Thank you guys. Didn't know I needed that, but I'm glad I got it from you all. Thank you for you. Naruto says with a bright smile which the girls copied. Naruto. Naruto and the girls turned to Tekna, who had her head down while rubbing her arm. I'm so sorry for saying that to you. I went too far and crossed a line that I shouldn't have. I guess let my emotions take control and just let me say something offensive to you without realizing it until it was too late. I really didn't mean to say that. I'm truly sorry. Tekna says, feeling ashamed for saying hurtful things to Naruto. The whisker-faced blonde moves to her and just places his hand on her head, causing the tech fairy to look up and see him smile at her. It's fine. It was in the heat and I forgive you, Tekna. I'm also sorry too for blowing up at you all that. Guess today wasn't our day, huh? Naruto says as Tekna just lets out a soft chuckle and smiles. Yeah. And thank you. Tekna says. Naruto nods and turns back to the others. These witches have won the battle, but the war isn't far from over yet. We'll get Stella's ring back. By any means. Right? Naruto asks while punching his fist into his other hand with him having a grin. The girls start feeling determined, knowing that there was still a chance to strike back at the tricks. Right. The girls yell in unity with Naruto nodding. Now let's go and get something to eat. I'm starving. Naruto says. I could kill for some pizza right now. Bloom says, which causes the others to turn to her with confused expressions. What's pizza? Flora asks, making Bloom's eyes open snap and turn to her. Wait. You guys never had pizza before? Bloom asks as everyone else just shakes their heads no. No, what is it? Stella asks. Well. Bloom then starts explaining what pizza really is as the group walk out of the clearing and head to the city. While the Winx have lost a battle with the tricks, they've learned a bit more from themselves and learn that they can start trusting each other, and learn to grow with one another, and the girls learn more of Naruto and his inner thoughts and now plan on learning more from him while also planning on finding a way in restoring his memories. Alfea hallways. Afternoon. It was the next day following the encounters with the witches, and we find our fairies minus Bloom and the resident human, Naruto, as they were walking through the halls of Alfea. Man, those witches really played us good. Musa groans, she was still reeling in the defeat they suffered by the witches when Naruto made the sacrifice on Stella's ring for her life. Yeah, but at least we really safe, especially Stella. Flora says as she turns to said blonde girl and rubs her back. We have to the ring back. Tekna says. Yeah, but how? We can't just wait for them to show up and beat them for it. That is if they would ever show up again. Now that they have my ring, since that is what they were after this whole time. Stella says, throwing her hands in the air. But we have to at least try something, right? I mean, who knows what they're doing with your ring? Musa asks, the others just sigh as one of them notices Bloom wasn't with them. Say, where's Bloom? Flora asks. Bloom's at the library. She thinks one of the books there could have some information on Stella's ring we could use in thinking about getting it back. Stella says, remembering Bloom heading to the library when class was over. The girls nodded as Musa then wanted to know where their fellow male Winx member was. Musa was about to speak but stops as she looks around and saw no one was around them nor listening to their conversation. And Naruto? Where's he at? Oh, he said that he had something to do. He said we could call him if we've got anything that needs his help. Flora explains. Okay. Musa says as they head to their dorm. With Naruto. We move away from the girls to the tunnels and to Naruto's room, where the sounds of grunts, pants, and fists connecting to something could be heard from the outside. Inside the room, Naruto in at the garage bay, near his bike as he was in his gym clothes and had black hand wraps on his hands as he was viciously striking a beat-up and barely hanging punching bag. He was profoundly sweating with the sweat coursing off his arms, legs, and face and pooling on the floor, but he didn't care about it as he is deeply concentrating on his workout as he was thinking about something. Or, was he? As he continues striking the bag, images start to flash in his mind. Images that he wasn't familiar with along with voices he wasn't too familiar with as well. Demon brat. Loser. Clanless freak. Fox bstrd. Naruto baka. Why can't I play with him? No, you can dear. Never associate with that thing again. Naruto unconsciously starts to punch the bag harder and harder with each blow to it, totally unaware that a strange light blue and dark red aura was starting to surge and swirl around him, causing the sweat on his skin and on the floor to evaporate. Get out of here, demon. I don't need you in my store. Die, freak. This is revenge for what you did to my family. You destroyed our village fox. So, I'll destroy everything you hold dear. Look, it's that child. Why would the Hokage let him in the academy? Shouldn't he remain weak so he doesn't gain more strength? You as Hokage? Ha, don't make me laugh. The strange blue and red aura surging off and around Naruto started to intensify as he was striking the punching bag more and more intensely. One last image appears in his mind and it was one of him, being impaled by someone else who had red irises as the lighting was shocking throughout his body and right lung. Listen, Dobe, you're just a stepping stone in my goal for power in killing my brother. For a time, I did see you as a friend, more like a brother. But this is where our bond cuts, and this is for power. And for me to potent this power, I need to sever our ties, permanently. So, die for me, Naruto. A voice shouts as a sound that is reminiscent of many birds chirping went off in his mind before total darkness filled his mind. When the sound appeared in his mind, Naruto's eyes open, snaps and throws one last heavy right hook onto the punching bag. When the punch connected with the bag, it implodes on impact and is sent flying across the room until it hits the wall, just by his tools as the punching bag created a spiderweb-like crack onto the wall upon collision. It stays in place for a brief moment until it slides off the wall and onto the floor to a stop with the sand inside the bag sipping out of a hole that was made on the opposite side of the bag. Naruto looks at the bag with wide eyes while the wrapping on his right hand was torn and falling apart onto the ground as he pants, in shock at what he had just done. The blue and red energy dissipated, not that caught his attention. He slowly looks down to his right hand and opens it as it was shaking, not from pain but from something else. How'd I do that? Naruto asks no one but himself with his pants slowly calming down. He closes his hand while taking deep breaths. What's happening to me? Naruto thought, trying to think of any possible solution to answer how he destroyed his punching bag as only one answer stood out in his mind from the words for Farragonda. Was that, my? Naruto thought. Before he could think on any more, a ring went off and filled the room. Naruto looks around and sees his cell phone vibrating by the tool rack and ringing. He goes over to it and picks it up. He looks at the screen and sees Stella's name on the caller ID. Without no hesitant, he answers the call. Hey Stella, what's up? Naruto asks as he grabs a towel and wraps the remaining sweat off his face. Naruto, come to our dorm. Bloom said she found some info on my ring. And it sounds pretty important. Stella says, piquing Naruto's interest. Okay, I'll be up there in a few. I just need to. Naruto stops speaking as he turns around and sees the sand on the floor and the crack on the wall as a piece of brick came off, clean up. I'll see you guys up there. Alright, see in a few. Stella says as the call ended. Naruto places the phone in his pocket before running his hand through his wet hair and lets out a deep sigh right as he looks up to the ceiling before raising his right hand to his face and staring at it. I really need to see Nurse and ask her what's wrong with me. Naruto says, letting out another sigh. He then goes to the bathroom to quickly shower before going to see the girls. A few minutes later. At the Winx dorm. So, what did you want to tell us, Bloom? Naruto asks. He was in his casual wear and was with the girls in Bloom's and Flora's shared room as he was leaning on the wall. I got some information on Stella's ring that could give us some clues on why the witches wanted it so badly. Bloom says, sitting on the side of her bed. Okay, tell us. Tekna says as she sat on one of the desks with Musa sitting on a chair by the desk. The Ring of Solaria, also known as the Sword of Solaris, is a part of the royal bloodline of Solaria as it has been passed down throughout generations to the crowned princess. Meaning Stella as its true user. Bloom says, pointing to Stella who was standing next to Flora. Well duh, of course, I'm its true possessor. I could have told you this myself. The Sword of Solaria has been a part of my family well forever now. Stella says. But that still doesn't explain why the witches were so determined to get it. Musa says. Well, it is an important and valuable object in Magix. Maybe they want to use it for spells. Flora says while Stella shakes her head no. That's not going to work well for them. You have to be BLD related to my family for the scepter or married into the royal family to be able to properly wield the sword ring. The best they can do with it is make the ring change into its true form and vice versa. Stella says. The tricks aren't ordinary criminals, that could be something bigger here but we're missing it. Tekna says, causing Bloom to be confused about the name. Excuse me. But I think I'm missing something here. Just who are the tricks? Bloom asks as Musa and Naruto giggle/chuckle a little about the name. Oh, that's the nickname me and Whiskers here came up of our 3 favorite witches. Seeing that they are a trio and witches. A fitting name really. Musa says. Naruto calms down and adopts a serious expression. But Tekna's right. There could be something we're missing here. Bloom, got any more info you have on the ring? Naruto asks. Oh, right. While I was reading about the ring's history in the book I read in the library, I did find something that caught my attention. According to legend, the Sword of Solaris was created a long time ago, no one really knows when. It was sculpted out of a stone embowered in the spring of light which still flows today. And it was one of the many gifts made from the great sacred fire. Bloom says, with Stella whistling. Impressed by Bloom's knowledge. Wow, you know more about my ring than I do. And here I thought that the history of Solaria was ultra boring. Stella says as Musa looks at him with a grin. Let me guess, you weren't paying any attention to any history lessons you got back home? Musa asks as Stella just blushes embarrassedly and turns away. Maybe. Stella says, causing the others to laugh a bit which makes her laugh as well, finding it funny. So, what exactly is the scared fire? Tekna asks, after everyone calms down from laughing. Excellent question, Miss Tekna. I'm very glad you brought up such a question. Bloom says as she was mimicking Griselda, causing the others to laugh at how well Bloom did her impression. I know a little on the sacred fire. I read a book on Magix's history a few years ago when I first got here. The legend on it states that there used to be a powerful mythical being called, the Great Dragon, which created the entire Magix we know today. It did so when it first sparked the sacred fire. It was like the Magix's Big Bang. Naruto says, amazing the girls with his knowledge. Wow, that's pretty cool. Musa whistles, impressed as Naruto sheepishly smile while rubbing the back of his head. Yeah, Auntie did make me be knowledgeable on things. Naruto says. Did the dragon exist for real or is it just a mythical symbol? Flora asks with Naruto shrugging his shoulders. That really isn't much information on the Great Dragon or on the Sacred Flame other than what Bloom and I just told. It's more like represents an ideal, like the embodiment of good versus evil in Magix and that jazz. Besides, it's a legend and myth. Naruto says. Is there any more info on it? Bloom asks and Naruto shakes his head. All that I do know besides what I said is the fact that Great Dragon chose to rest on some now barren planet. Naruto says. What planet is that? Flora asks. Some planet called, Domino. Naruto says with the girls raising their eyebrows, never once hearing the planet before while one of them felt something to that name. But what? Well, it's nice knowing all this and all, but I'd really like to get my ring back. Stella says. Yeah, and I say we should be the ones to get it back. Tenka says, causing Musa to dramatically gasp. Tekna, I thought you were the logical one out of all of us here. Musa says. Sorry, but even since I've been hanging around you guys, I've been getting more out of control with my emotions. Tenka says with a small blush on her cheeks. But Tekna, we're not soldiers. How can we go and get the ring back from Icy, Darcy, and Stormy, three of Cloud Tower's best and most experienced witches today? Flora asks, knowing how strong the tricks are. By taking them by surprise. They came to our home last time, so we'll do the same. Bloom says, grinning. Yes. The old sneak and take move. Stella yells, now with a determined and excited look on her face. But how are we gonna hear over there? We can't exactly walk into Cloud Tower. Tenka says, and that was when Naruto knew of one way to the tricks. I know of a way. Naruto says, gaining the girl's attention. He gets off the wall and walks toward his hatch. I'll be back here tonight when the school's all asleep. That's when we head to Cloud Tower and strike. I'll see you all later. Naruto says, leaving the room through his hatch. The girls look at the hatch until one of them spoke. Is it just me or did Naruto see Maud? Bloom says, making the others look at her. Odd how? He's the oddest guy I've ever met. Tenka says. Yeah, but that's usual. Today, however, it was different. It's like he was acting strange. Bloom says. Maybe he was tired. He did say he was working out before he came here. Musa says. I don't know. Maybe I'm just exaggerating a bit. Bloom says, she looks at the clock and sees that they had a few hours till Naruto would return. Well, looks like we've got time to kill before Naruto gets back. I'm gonna go back to the library. I wanna know more about the Great Dragon and Demono. Bloom says as she gets up from her bed and exits the dorm, leaving the others as they went to their rooms to do something while they wait. A few hours later. Nighttime falls upon Magix as rain fell from the dark sky as everyone in Alfea were asleep in their dorms, all except for the Winx. The girls were waiting for Naruto as he said he'd be back at this time. They were in the common room, right where his hatch was. You think he's coming? Musa asks. He will. He is the one that told us to be ready. Stella says as she and the others look at the hatch. Moments passed and a knock came from the hatch. Bloom goes over to it and sees Naruto on the ladder, wearing a black version of his casual wear. You guys ready? Naruto asks with the girls nodding. Alright, now follow me down here. Naruto says as he goes down the ladder, one by one, the girls enter the hatch and descend into the hole where Naruto was waiting for them with flashlights in hand. Alright, let's get going. It's gonna take us a while to get there. Naruto says as he hands the girls the flashlights and starts leading them down through the tunnels. After about 1.5 hours of traversing through the tunnels, Flora asks the question that has been in her mind since the beginning. Where are we going? Flora asks. To Cloud Tower. This is the only way to get into it without tripping any of its defense. And this tunnel will lead directly under the castle, Naruto says as he turns on a corner and leads the girls down another tunnel. How do you know that and how did you even know about these? Stella asks. These tunnels were originally made for the students and teachers of Alfea, Red Fountain, and Cloud Tower to use and take refuges should any of the schools be attacked. I know these tunnels because for one, I use them all the time when I want to move around Alfea without being spotted by the students there, and the second thing is I use them to sneak into the other schools. Naruto says, causing the girls to look at them when he said to sneak into the other schools. To sneak into the other schools? Why would you do that? Tekna asks. To pull pranks there. Naruto says, making the girls curious about what he meant by that. Pranks? Musa asks with Naruto nodding. Stella start to remember something she heard last year when some girls were talking about a prank. Wait, it was you who pulled the pink fog at Cloud Tower a few years back. Stella yells as Naruto grins and nods. Yep, one of my finest work. Took a lot of timing and planning to pull for two. But it was worth it when I saw the results. Maybe I should get back into it. Naruto says. Wow, must have been something big. Yeah, it was. Naruto says. They walk a bit more until they reach a wall. Great, a dead end. Tenka says. Did we go the wrong way? Flora asks as Naruto just shakes his head. Nope, this is the way in. Naruto says. He walks to the wall and taps onto it in a rhythm. He stops the tapping as the wall starts to shake until it goes up, opening the way into Cloud Tower. And here we are, Cloud Tower. Naruto says as they exit the tunnel and enter the school with the entrance closing behind them. Nice one, Naruto. Bloom says, making the blonde smile. So, now what do we do? Stella asks, seeing the maze of multiple flights of stairs in front of them, leading to different sections of the school. I guess we could use our abilities in tracking down the tricks. Bloom suggests, but just before any of them were about to use their powers, they hear a very familiar voice shouting. Was that? Musa asks. Flora looks up to where the voice was shouting and saw Icy, Darcy, and Stormy in their causal wear at the top of the staircase, waiting for someone. Icy. And she's not alone. Flora says, pointing to the top as the rest see the tricks. They saw the Orge from before appearing to the tricks and see them walking down the stairs. The Winx quickly take cover and see the tricks walk past them and to a hallway, leading to who knows where. As soon as they see that the tricks and co were out of hearing range, the Winx step out of their hiding spots. Looks like they're going somewhere else. Tekna says. And I think that didn't have my ring with them. It wasn't on any of their fingers. Stella says. Meaning it could be in their room. Flora says. Bloom turns to Naruto. Naruto, did you know where the students here sleep? The redhead asks with the whiskered blonde shaking his head no. Sorry, I don't know. I've only sunk around the kitchen and potion labs here for the prank. Not the rooms. But I think I can use my magical sensing to track the ring down. If it has Stella's signature on it, then it'll be easy to find it. Stella, can you come over here? Naruto asks, causing the blonde princess to get confused but complies with his request. Okay. Stella says. She walks over to him and just when she was in front of him, he places his right hand on her shoulder, causing her to blush at the unexpected action. If your ring still has your magic in it, I can sense it, but if it's too small, it'll be hard, so, I'm going to use you as an emitter, using your connection to the ring and see where it is. You ready? Naruto asks. Why yeah. Stella says. Naruto takes a deep breath and closes his eyes as the world around him goes silent and dark. He starts seeing Stella as a bright star in the darkness and starts using her light to look for her ring. He then starts to see a thin line connected to Stella's star. With his eyes still closes, Naruto turns his head, following the line and see it was leading to a set of stairs. Until the line led to the top of the staircase, at the position where the tricks were standing. He continues to follow the rope down a hallway until the line stops at a door. He knew that this was the tricks' dorm. Knowing this, Naruto opens his eyes and looks at the girls. I found it. Come on. I'll lead us there. Naruto says. He leads the girls to where he sensed the ring and they reached the dorm room of the tricks. Naruto reaches for the door handle and opens the door. They enter the room and see it was just an ordinary room, if you don't count on the voodoo dolls, severed heads, and other weird and sinister items in the room. So this is the room, Bloom says as Musa pinches her nose shut, upon smelling an awful odor in the room. Yeah, and thanks to this smell in here, I think their ogre bodyguard life here too. Let's just busy. Stella's ring is in here but it may be in some box or something. Plus we really don't have a lot of time as the witches could come back at any moments. Then what are we waiting for? Naruto says. They split up and start looking in the different spots in the room, cabinets, the bookshelf, the beds, the closer, and even the upper level of the room. Hey, look at what I found. Tenka says as she pulls a doll with pins stabbed into it. Chst, creepy much. Musa pops her head out from a walk-in closet, holding a metal stick. You think that's creepy? Check this out. Musa says, she waves the stick a bit before spikes shot out of the stick, startling her. Where could they have put the ring? You said that they didn't have it on their fingers, Stella. Flora says, looking through some of the drawers. Yeah, plus where would they go at this time of night? Stella says as she opens a container but an awful smell came out of the container and causes her to cringe at the smell. Naruto was at the upper level of the room, looking at some of the things there for the ring. He goes over to the desk where a computer was and saw notes and books on the desk. He picks some of the notes up and reads it and he starts to frown at what he was reading. What the? Information about the ring of Solaria and the great dragon. Why are the witches so interested in ancient history? Is that why they wanted Stella's ring? What are they really after here? Naruto thought as he looks over the notes a bit more, trying to figure out what the witches were planning. Hey! I found it. Naruto was drawn out from his investigation and goes over the railing to look down and sees Bloom and Stella, standing near some mess and sees Stella holding her ring. Hello little one. Did you miss Mama? Stella says, slipping the ring back onto her right ring finger. You found it? Naruto asks, coming down from the upper level after putting the notes into his hoodie's pocket. Yep, it was in this pile of mess. Bloom says. Great. Can we go now? I don't want to be here any longer. Tekna says, knowing that they could be discovered anytime now. They head to the balcony window so they could fly out of the castle but Tekna couldn't open it. After a little while, Tenka gives up. Either the lock's broken or there could be a magical spell on it. Tenka says. Meaning we've got to go back to the tunnel entrance. Bloom says. Stella walks to the door and peeks out of it, to see if there was someone in the hallway but saw no one. Coast is clear. Let's go. Stella says as the Winx slowly and quietly exits the room and traverses through the hallway. Just when they reach a corner, one of them hears something approaching them. You guys hear there? Flora asks. Stella peeks around the corner and her eyes widen as she sees the tricks and their ogre walking toward them. Yeah, what is that? Musa. It's the tricks and their ogre. Stella quietly yelps, causing the others to panic. Looking around, Naruto spots a door just behind them. He goes to it and gets surprised when he opens it fairly easily. Quick girls, in here. Naruto tells the girls and they all rush into the room before closing it, just in time as the tricks and their ogre walk past the room and seemingly not noticing them. Inside the mysterious room, the Winx all let out sighs of relief for avoiding the tricks. That was a close call. Naruto sighs with the other agreeing. Yeah. Musa says. Tenka looks at the room and her eyebrow raises in confusion. Where are we? Tenka asks, causing the others to look around and see that they were in a room that was filled with various books, items, and weapons scattered around the large room. What is this place? Flora asks as the group started walking around the room. Naruto looks around in one of the bookshelves and notices a book that looked eerily the same as one of the books back at Alfea. His eyes widen as he realizes where they were. This is Cloud Tower's archives. This is where they keep all their most important files and artifacts. Everything in here is priceless. Naruto says with the girls gasping in amazement at the place. Whoa, so this is the archives. Musa says as the girls and Naruto start exploring the room. Flora and Musa looked at some of the various strange artifacts while Bloom and Tenka were looking at the many books in the various sheaves. Naruto was looking at the artifacts and the different types of weapons. Stella was walking around, not really paying attention to her surroundings as she unknowingly walks through a cobweb. Feeling the silk on her skin, she yelps before tripping over something and falling on her. But, causing dust to pick up. This place is giving me the creeps. Stella says, staring to remove the cobwebs. I wonder what's in all these books. Tenka asks as Bloom walks over to a bookshelf. Only one way to find out. Bloom says as she pulls out a large book and places it on a stone desk. She opens the book which causes dust to come out right before a burst of magical energy flashes out of the book, causing the group to close their eyes right as the flash fades and they open their eyes again. At the time Bloom opens the book. In another location inside Cloud Tower. In a dark office, a woman sat by her desk, reading some reports. She was a very tall woman with pale greenish-white skin, and had a hooked nose. She had purple hair that was pulled up into a shape similar to that of pointy hats worn by fairy tale witches, with two lighter purple strands on either side. She also wore heavy makeup around her eyes. She wore an ankle-length dark purple dress with a high collar and dark purple shoes. This was Head Witchstress Griffin, the most powerful witch within Cloud Tower currently. She was reading her reports when a crystal ball beside her on her desk started to flash, alerting her. She goes to the ball to see what was wrong. An intruder alert in the archives. Let us see who it is. Griffin says as she waves her hand to the ball and a live link to the archives appears, showing her the Winx. Ah, it would appear the fairies of Alfea and a boy are the intruders. While the girls look like they're just first-year students, the boy doesn't look to be a fairy nor a red fountain specialist due to his clothing, but he could be a specialist in training. Perhaps I should send a message to Faragonda and Saladin on this. But in the meantime, let me greet our guests properly to Cloud Tower, Griffin says, smirking as she shots a magical blast into the crystal ball to teleport it to the room. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 4. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Pixel's fanbook on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.